name's Jen Query. I'm manager of the Athletic Performance Training Program here at Borges, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about balance training and incorporating that into your workout routine and why that's important. Okay. Initially, as we are running and sprinting and doing our ladder work, and as we're athletes, what's the first thing that hits the ground is our foot. And obviously, we know with physics, action, reaction, we have to be able to apply force into that ground to get something out of it. If we're unstable, we have weak ankles, weak perennial tendons. Again, there's always that give or take, and I'll show you I'll be able to demonstrate a couple different techniques so that you're able to see exactly what I'm talking about. So the big thing is with these couple exercises, if you incorporate them daily into your routine, again, you're going to be able to improve that ankle mobility, strength, and within that ankle, a lot of the perennial tendons. A lot of times athletes get the perennial tendonitis, or they get ankle issues as far as sprained ankles, and a lot of that's just because, again, we have a weakness down there that we need to try and improve and correct. And some of these simple exercises can, again, correct that in a fairly short amount of time. Okay, first exercise I'm going to show you is very basic. It's just a single leg balance hold. Ideally, we want the athlete to have their shoes off. Okay, they can have their socks on. They want to be on a stable surface. A lot of times we're working balance on the Dynadisc and the Bosu balls, which is fine to progress to, but when we're initially starting, we want to start on a solid surface. Remember, when we're playing sports, we're on solid surface. We're not playing on balance disc or Bosu balls or things like that. So again, we need to develop that stability first on a solid surface that, again, we can develop some stability and then kind of move to some of the more advanced techniques. So first off, you're going to see just a single leg hold. Ideally, we want to hold this for around 30 seconds. This is the stable leg, and ideally we want to think of, as an athlete, we want to think of having a center point in our foot, and then we can add, if your athlete is able to hold this pretty center with their other heel to their butt, then you can add in some hand movement gestures where you're going out to the side, or they're going above their head. And again, as the coach, you're going to watch that ankle and watch those perennial tendons to see how quick are they moving. Are they able to, hold that foot pretty steady, or are they rolling on the outsides of their foot? As they start to roll, if the movement becomes too hard, you're going to see this. They're going to roll outside, they're going to roll inside. They may have to put their other foot down, and you're going to really see those perennials start to fire. If the athlete has small socks on or does not have socks on at all, you can actually really see the perennials start to fire. Once the athlete has been able to master just the single leg, and then you go to the hand movement, then you can actually take them to the next level and you can actually ask them to close their eyes. This adds a whole new element onto it, and as you can see, my foot starts to wobble a lot more. Obviously trying to keep that technique inbound. And ideally, you're going to do each of these for 30 seconds. The eyes closed, obviously, the longer you hold it, the harder it is, and you start to move, that foot starts to move, and then obviously they start to lose that balance. Ideally, we want to go with both legs. So whatever you're doing on the right, you're doing on the left. It is not uncommon to have the right side look great and actually pretty steady, and then all of a sudden you move to the left, and it's all over the place. Okay, they're not able to hold it for the 30 seconds or complete the sets. They may not even be able to do the arms out if they were to do it, even though they were doing it on the right. That's fine, okay? That just notes that there is much more instability on that side of the body, which is okay. And that means, obviously, you would want to work on that a little bit more than the right side to try and even that imbalance out. Okay, that's definitely not uncommon to have that happen. Here we're doing the same single leg balance exercise, but we've changed locations. We're on our vibration plates, okay? Vibration plates are great for athletes that are coming off of injury, rehab. We're trying to excite that nervous system. Again, just adds a whole new dimension to it. Definitely not a have to, but again, as you start with the lower vibration modes and move the way up, you're going to see those perennials start to work more, that ankle, everything having to strengthen it and to hold that center point a little bit more. Definitely a great way to add it and to mix things up. And again, neurologically causes some excitement. That again, some studies have shown that it does help, especially athletes coming back from that injury, whether it's with the ankle, whether it's with the knee, that lower body injury. I talk to you, but this adds a whole new development element as well. Obviously, unstable surface. Once your athlete has developed a pretty steady foot on hard surface, if you have a vibration plate, you can always add that in. But this is another way to mix things up. The Dynadisc is also a way, but here I'm standing on the Bosu ball, and you would go through the same progression. You're just going to start with single leg, okay? You can see it's much harder for me to keep stable, okay? I always tell the athlete, focus on a center point on that foot. Once they have that, then you can start to move to the eyes up, okay? Hands out, arms up to the side, and then obviously once they progress that, you know, be careful as a coach, I'm always there spotting them, then you can add the eyes closed, but obviously a much more challenging surface to try and do the eyes closed on. That would be the last progression. And as a coach, again, you're standing there spotting the athlete in case they were to get so off balance that they teeter to one side or the next. Again, all these are done in between, you know, around 30-second intervals, but some of them more advanced, you're going to probably start with 10 to 15 seconds and then work up to the 30. But again, working the endurance, remember these are small tendons, very small muscles, okay, that are working with those tendons. So again, we're working on endurance here. So again, the longer we can get these athletes to hold that steady point, the better off we're going to be with that ankle and that foot stability, which in the long-term goal is to have us be able to strike the ground more efficiently, and obviously with our strength training be able to develop more force. So action, reaction, I always tell the athletes, is important. We need to be able to put force into the ground to be able to get force out of it.